We live in an age of storms. The external tempests of societal pressure, economic uncertainty, and global unrest are mirrored by the internal squalls of anxiety, distraction, and a pervasive sense of lack. In this relentless turbulence, the quest for an inner anchor, a state of unshakable calm and centeredness, has become a paramount pursuit. While mindfulness apps, therapy, and fitness regimes offer valuable tools, an ancient, often misunderstood practice is experiencing a modern resurgence: semen retention. Far more than a mere abstinence challenge or a meme-fueled internet trend, semen retention, when understood in its full context, is a profound discipline of energy management. It is the deliberate practice of conserving the vital, creative force of seminal fluid, not out of repression, but out of a conscious decision to transmute that energy upwards, forging a psyche and a physiology that can remain calm and centered in any storm. The modern man lives in a perpetual storm, one not of wind and water, but of noise, lust, and constant stimulation. Screens flash endlessly, bodies are objectified, and pleasure is marketed as the highest pursuit. This constant bombardment keeps men on edge, reactive, and energetically drained. The digital era has conditioned men to seek stimulation instead of silence, and excitement instead of equilibrium. Every scroll, every click, every lustful image triggers dopamine surges that mimic the energy of creation itself, but with no true creation to show for it. Over time, this weakens the nervous system, scatters focus, and leaves a man feeling anxious, restless, and hollow. To be calm and centered in this world is almost an act of rebellion. It is the refusal to be tossed around by the winds of desire and distraction. And semen retention becomes a cornerstone of this rebellion, a man's conscious stand to reclaim his sovereignty over his most primal energy. Semen retention is not repression, it is redirection. The retained seed is a reservoir of life force, the same creative essence that can generate a human being. When this power is conserved and circulated within, it strengthens the body, clears the mind, and steadies the emotions. In retention, a man learns to hold his inner fire without letting it burn him. He transforms what was once chaotic sexual energy into calm, creative energy, into discipline, focus, and purpose. This process is alchemical, the conversion of base desire into higher awareness. The calm that arises from semen retention is not fragile, it is rooted. It does not depend on circumstances or people. Instead, it flows from a deep sense of inner alignment, the knowing that you are in control of your vital essence and not at its mercy. As the Taoist masters taught, when the waters of essence are not spilled, the mind becomes clear as a mirror. This clarity breeds serenity, and from serenity comes power, the power to respond instead of react, to remain still while the world shakes around you. Retention centers a man by grounding his energy within his own being. Each ejaculation releases not only fluid, but subtle electrical and magnetic energies from the body. These are the same energies that maintain the balance of the nervous system and support mental focus. When a man retains, this energy is recycled and refined. It begins to rise through the body, nourishing the organs, the brain, and the spirit. This upward flow creates an equilibrium between the primal and the spiritual, between instinct and intention. Over time, the nervous system becomes strong and steady, less prone to anxiety or agitation. The man becomes like a rooted tree, firm in storms, flexible in winds, alive and aware but unmoved by chaos. This grounding effect extends to emotional balance. Many men experience emotional turbulence because their energy is scattered, constantly leaking through lust, fantasy, or guilt. Retention gathers these energies back into the center, creating coherence within the self. When your energy is unified, your emotions follow suit. A retained man does not chase validation, nor does he crumble under pressure. He stands firm because his energy, attention, and identity are centered within his core. Ancient warriors understood the value of calmness. The samurai called it mushin, the mind without disturbance. To be effective in battle, they had to remain perfectly composed, their awareness fluid and clear. Similarly, in the spiritual battle of modern life, calmness is the weapon of mastery. A man practicing semen retention begins to embody this warrior calm. His body pulses with vitality, but his mind remains tranquil. This stillness is not weakness. It is controlled power. It is the pause between stimulus and response where all strength resides. When the world provokes, he breathes deeply. When temptation calls, he smiles and redirects the energy upward. When fear whispers, he listens but does not obey. His calm becomes his armor, and his centeredness his sword. In this state, he no longer reacts impulsively to external events. He moves from purpose, not panic. He leads from presence, not pressure. The storms that once threw him into confusion now serve to test his grounding and reveal his mastery. Semen retention teaches emotional alchemy. Lust, when denied its usual outlet, becomes restless energy. But when transmuted, that same energy becomes creativity, insight, compassion, and drive. A retained man learns to observe his urges without being enslaved by them. Every time he redirects that surge inward, he is training his mind to rise above the animal and embrace the divine. Through breath work, meditation, or creative work, he channels this energy upward into his heart and brain. This transmutation refines his character and amplifies his magnetism. He no longer seeks pleasure to escape himself. Instead, he finds peace within himself. This is the essence of calm and centeredness, when you no longer depend on the world to give you balance because balance is your natural state. The storm of desire that once ruled you now becomes a wind you can harness to propel your purpose. Retention cultivates detachment, not indifference. It's the difference between feeling deeply and being consumed by feeling. When a man expends his energy constantly, he becomes attached to sensations. His moods swing with external stimuli, a text message, a glance, a fantasy. But when he retains, he withdraws the roots of his identity from these outer sources. His sense of worth and peace come from within. Detachment allows him to move through chaos with composure. He can love without clinging, succeed without arrogance, fail without despair. He becomes a witness to life's fluctuations rather than a victim of them. This inner detachment is not cold. It is sacred balance. It gives him freedom to act wisely and courageously. He knows that no matter what happens, rejection, loss, success, or temptation, his center remains intact. On the spiritual path, storms are not punishments. They are teachers. They test the solidity of your foundation. A man practicing semen retention will inevitably face emotional and energetic storms, temptation, loneliness, frustration, even arrogance from newfound power. But each storm serves a purpose to deepen his roots. When he remains calm through temptation, he strengthens his discipline. When he stays centered through frustration, he grows in maturity. Every trial refines his soul, teaching him to trust the inner light more than the outer noise. Storms are invitations to practice presence. They show you where your attachments still live, where your fears still hide. And the retained man, unlike most, has the energy and awareness to meet these challenges consciously. He learns to breathe through them, to let energy rise instead of explode, to stay silent instead of reactive. In doing so, his stillness deepens until it becomes his permanent state. When a man's energy is contained and refined, he begins to emit a magnetic calm that others feel instinctively. People trust his presence because it carries weight, the weight of self-control, awareness, and integrity. This calm is not performative. It is energetic. It radiates naturally from a man whose internal currents are aligned. Women sense safety in his presence. Other men feel respect. Even animals react to his steadiness. This is the calm of kings, sages, and true leaders. Influence without force, command without noise. The world bends towards such men because they represent what the human spirit longs for: order and chaos, clarity and confusion, peace and conflict. Retention gives rise to this presence. It is not about suppressing energy, but mastering it so completely that it moves through you as harmony instead of disorder. To remain calm and centered while practicing retention, a man must direct his energy with intention. Without outlets like breath work, meditation, exercise, or creative purpose, the stored energy can become chaotic. Breath anchors the energy. Deep diaphragmatic breathing harmonizes the nervous system and circulates the retained vitality throughout the body. Meditation stills the mind, teaching awareness of subtle shifts in energy and emotion. Purpose gives the energy direction. A man without purpose will always struggle to remain centered because idle energy seeks expression. But when he channels his power into meaningful work, service, art, mission, his energy becomes sacred fuel. This is how he becomes unstoppable, sexually continent, mentally still, and purpose-driven. His calm is not fragile. It is forged in focus. In a society that thrives on distraction and emotional reactivity, a calm man stands out. He is not swayed by propaganda, not seduced by instant gratification, not intimidated by uncertainty. His calmness gives him perspective. His centeredness gives him power. He becomes a lighthouse, steady amidst the crashing waves. Others are drawn to his clarity. His relationships improve because he listens deeply. His work excels because he acts deliberately. His presence uplifts others simply by existing. Through semen retention, he has learned the rarest art, to govern himself. And because he governs himself, he cannot be governed by the chaos of the world. The storms of temptation, stress, and emotion still come, but they no longer dictate his state. He has found something unshakable within, a silent, radiant core untouched by circumstance. The calm and centered man knows that true power begins within. He no longer seeks to control the external world because he has mastered the inner one. His emotions serve him, his desires fuel him, and his energy uplifts him. Through retention, he has reclaimed the throne of his consciousness, the seat of dominion over body, mind, and spirit. From this throne, he rules not through domination, but through presence. He walks through storms with a quiet smile, knowing that nothing external can truly shake what is eternally grounded in truth. This is the essence of being calm and centered in any storm. Calm, because he no longer fights the flow of life. Centered, because he lives from his essence, not his urges. Powerful, because his energy is whole. Life will always bring storms. The question is not whether they will come, but whether you will remain centered when they do. Semen retention is not merely about holding seed. It is about holding yourself. It is about containing your power, protecting your peace, and directing your energy toward purpose and growth. When practiced with mindfulness, it becomes a spiritual anchor in a turbulent world. The man who retains learns to face storms without fear because he knows the calm he carries inside is stronger than anything outside. He becomes like the mountain, unmoved by the wind. Like the ocean, deep, vast, and undisturbed by the surface waves. His calm is his crown, his centeredness his kingdom. The storms will continue to rage around him, but he will walk through them still, strong, and sacredly calm. A man who has mastered not only his energy, but his destiny. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. Join the Retain to Thrive Telegram channel at the link below, where we focus on building discipline, overcoming distractions, and achieving goals. Join the supportive community sharing tips, motivation, and accountability. Let's grow together, one step at a time.